let's jump over very quickly to Ren and Akama. What are you guys doing now? Do you still have the communications channel open?
Yes.
Okay.
He didn't hang up. He's right next to me though, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm standing right next to you. I would have gotten there right as the door was closing, pretty much, correct?
Yes.
Why are we locked out?
So just to let you know, the reason why I'm out here is because apparently I'm too mystical for them. So they said I'm gonna interrupt their ritual or whatever the fuck they're doing over there. And
I just had to have a whole discussion with Ymir about possibly not being able to join him for this because of other matters, and I hurried back here to join him, and there was no fucking point for the conversation.
I mean, if you want, he's over there. I don't know what.
I think he saw me. I had a flashlight staring at him.
Anything else? Anybody doing anything else? Ymir,
like a shake of the head, like.
Are you saying this like overly loud so Ymir can hear through the bars, or do you want to just say it quietly?
I'm having regular conversation sound.
Like, okay.
I'm talking to someone right next to me, so I'm not
yeah, we'll say that isn't really picked up by anybody in the room that you could tell. So.
Cool.
He acts like I broke the biggest promise I could have made, and I come back here and he's just like, bye.
No, not for you, but for me. And I needed a skedaddle.
Here, and the door closed after I was here.
No, the door's still open.
No, the door closed.
It's locked and closed.
Yep, it closed right as he came down the stairs. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and knock on the door.
It's like a gate.
A nice little dunk dunk dunk.
I mean, you walk up and grab a hold of one of the bars and kind of.
No, I know it's closed. I just knocking on the door now. Like, hey.
So you want to kind of pound on the bars? All right. So you.
Yeah.
How hard are you banging on the bars? Because you're.
No, not hard enough to
Okay.
break it.
Okay.
But
no, just making
hard
noise
enough that it's gonna make some type of noise.
I pull out a tin cup and I run it back and forth across the bars.
Do you really want to do that?
No, I don't have a tin cup. No.
Oh. Okay. All right. You bang several times, a couple of sharp reports, and it's enough to. You don't get
shout.
too aggressively. What do you shout? What do you say?
Hey, Ymir, you left your brother out here. Ren just showed up.
I didn't just show up. I've been here for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes ago, and you closed the door on him.
And Ymir, you don't see anybody else even listening to what Akama just said.
I don't think Ymir would be listening either because he's focused on his work.
Okay.
It wouldn't be, wouldn't be a thing.
I'll say you hear it, but you kind of make a decision to like, you're saying you basically tune out whatever else is happening. Is that what I'm picking up?
Well, yeah. I mean,
because
the ritual ritual is already started, he's in a trance-like state, or he's.
I wouldn't say that yet. Now, I would say that you, from what you just discerned, you figured out kind of what's starting to happen, but you're not in any kind of altered consciousness, so you definitely hear him yell it. But I'm leaving it up to however you guys want to handle it. So.
Can I call Ymir on his phone?
I will call you on your cell phone.
The big brick, the industrial sized cell phone.
I want to call you so you are aware. So you need support? Here's support. If you want to take a different route, I mean, that's on you, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say.
All right, guys, we're going to take our midpoint break. I'm going to let them out. We'll be back in 5.
All right, man. I mean, all I'm thinking is that, because what I felt was the transition was I was at the doorway trying to leave. I didn't know I left already because I heard someone coming down the stairs.
Right.
So
Yep.
I turned around and took off, and I had you on the phone. So I was gonna start talking, and he said that you were already like downstairs.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
you're-
like
you're on
15
the
feet away from
staircase.
you when you called me, basically. So you stopped, or you just left the comms
I
on.
I left the
This is
comms
the
on
most
so you can
janky
hear what was
interaction
going on.
ever. This is the most janky.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's like,
There was a lot being dished out everywhere. I was just trying to make sure. That's
Yeah.
why I was
No,
confused
no,
that the door closes. Like, what the fuck?
I
Bro,
was
he
back,
was just next
I
to
was
me.
back before I heard the tail end of the conversation between Ymir and the what's his name? The
Forge Master.
Lars.
No,
Yeah.
not Forge Master. The other
Lars.
Yeah, Lars. Thank you. So I heard that through the comms, but I was already at the top of the steps, so I could kind of even hear that a bit, probably muffled. And as I'm coming down the stairs, then I hear you turn the comms on, and I hear all that. So like you were still on the stairwell, or at least at the doorway, when I showed up.
No,
And
I didn't even take a
No,
step in.
Ymir still was.
Yeah.
So Ymir was still with you when I got to you,
Oh shit.
and then the door closed, and I was walked away from.
See,
That-
the thing was, I couldn't even step in, because if that was the case, I would have stepped in with Ymir, and then they would shoot me away. Like, get out of there.
Well, I mean,
We're
Lars
gonna
and
start.
Lars
did.
whatever Forge guy, he never came over. He was doing his thing.
Yeah,
Lars,
correct.
Lars had already walked away by the time I got to the bottom of the steps, but Ymir was there.
Like
And-
inside already.
No, he was like, how do I ping?
Click and hold, and then
It's
let
not doing
go.
anything. I'm doing that. It's not doing
You have
anything.
the arrow icon.
There. Okay, yeah. Like, he was like right there.
He was like right here.
Maybe. I mean, he took up like 4 fucking spaces. So he was
But
like,
yeah, I mean that's what I'm
was, like,
saying.
there.
So
he was talking to you, he was talking in a normal tone to you when I was standing right next to you with a flashlight on,
I mean, I don't know, man.
or the door closed.
That's what I'm saying though. I would have walked up over here at least, walking with Ymir, and then they would told me, "Hey, turn around and walk away. We can't have you here."
Well,
like, I stand at the
But
staircase.
Lars also did mention both of your companions. When he was talking to Ymir, he said,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
your companions will be able to join you on whatever work you had before, which is a conversation you, Ren, would have heard either through the comms or right there.
I would have heard
but-
the tail end of that, yes.
Right.
But that's
And
what
it-
that's
and-
what Ren's confused about. Ren's like,
Well,
I just
also at
had
the same time.
10 minutes ago this conversation with Ymir,
Right. You
where it was
just,
like, hey,
just a
I
knife.
can't be here at least right now because I have to take care of some
Right.
shit. And you were just like, you broke a promise to me, and I hurried my ass back, and then it's like, oh, you don't even need to be here right now, or you can't be here right now. So that's what Ren's confused about. That's why Ren's questioning Akama, being like, what the fuck did I just do all this for if I can't even be here? Like, what's going Ren's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, because she thought
Shit.
he needed to be here right then and there, and was like, I can't be here right now and then, but I'll be back as soon as possible, thinking maybe a couple of hours.
Right.
Instead, it's fucking 5-10 minutes, and I get back, and it's like, no, and it's like,
So-
what the fuck was all that?
The idea that I saw was, I came in as a substitute for you. When I get downstairs to the doorway, the door was still closed on my end because I couldn't see anything. Then when I'm guessing the door opened, I was supposed to able to see inside. I wasn't able to see anything. So a quarter of that time of us being in front
No, I
of the
know.
doorway, it was all blacked out.
Figuring
So
out.
I didn't know if I was inside or not.
No, I
And
understand
even
that.
if that was the case, the door was closed, so I wouldn't be able to enter regardless. So my character did not move at all, but I saw Ymir's character move. So if he moved up, I would have moved up with him, but there was no, I guess, talk about me moving too. And I would think the idea was that I stepped in with Ymir. He got closer to Lars, and
Uh-huh.
then they would have told me,
Yeah,
"Hey
you would have
man,
been flank.
get out
You
of
would have.
here."
Yeah, you would have been flanking. So you would
And
have
by
heard.
that time, I would
Yeah.
have turned around, and as I'm walking, I had the comm already on as they were,
Right.
you were walking toward
Right.
Lars.
Yeah,
Uh
because
huh.
I
there was
had
a
the comms
conversation between
on,
him and Lars, yeah.
and
So I was
then
picking up the
I
end of that
would
conversation between the
turn
two.
around and start making my way toward the staircase, hearing somebody coming down the staircase.
And
Then
that's when you
right
sat
at the
down.
doorway, I
Yeah, that's when you
would
sat
look
on
at
steps.
you and be like, "Oh shit, hey, thank God." That's why I gave you the arm. Like, yes, you're here.
I'm back.
Thank
And
God.
then
I
nothing
went
happened
and-
except the
and-
door closed a couple seconds or a couple minutes later. Like I
Yeah,
was
but I
there
didn't
for.
reach the doorway. If that was the case, that's what I'm saying.
Plus, I would have been there for a good minute or two before the door closed. That's what I'm confused by. Like why I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. Odin, we got conflicts.
What's going on?
Just confused by the timeline as far as like when I arrived and why there was no like notice or recognition of me being there, and then the door closed when I 10 minutes or 40 minutes beforehand the conversation that me and Ymir had, why that would not have been like, hey, you're back type thing, or like, hey, like just confused by like
So
just-
the order operation that I figured that how it was gonna go
Mm-hmm.
is that me and Ymir would get to the door would be closed, or if it was wide open already, that I would have been able to see inside. So once we got that whole visual things taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
I saw Ymir move up inside of the room. So I would be thinking that if he walked up, I would have walked up with him, and by that time, as Ymir gets closer to Lars, where Lars is right now, like behind him, so to say, everybody that's around the forge, when they all came together, they would have been like, "Yo, you get out of here! I don't want you to interfere with my shit." And like,
Well,
as
Lars
Ymir
had
was walk-
Lars had
Go ahead.
walked up to right here, and I was
Okay.
keeping track of the timing of roughly what it was going to take Kilo to move through and head down. When Kilo was still upstairs, Lars had been right here, and that's when I believe he communicated to Ymir that you needed to stay. That it was that
Oh,
they
at the
didn't.
doorway.
Uh-huh. And that was still when Ymir was, I believe, standing. It was like right before he moved up.
Was that
And so-
during the whole time we were talking about visibility?
Yeah. It was that all of that was going on all at the same
Yeah.
time. So, but anyway, so he had been standing right here, and he had said that
Okay.
you need to stay out. That's when Ymir had communicated to you. I don't remember exactly what he did. He held up or he did something to kind of signal
How
that.
long was the staircase?
The
Being down
staircase.
stairs?
Well, here, let me show this again so that this might make a little more sense here. What are we on? Token. I need
'Cause-
GM and this. Okay.
Because I wouldn't have called him if I could hear him.
So but you called him when he was just at the door. He had just,
Upstairs.
where we left off with him is he was like right at the door. And you called
Oh,
him
downstairs
then.
next to me.
no, the door going to the staircase.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
And then
Right,
this
right.
staircase that you're seeing here is actually a winding one that's winding up and back to the right. So it goes down in a kind of spiral kind of fashion. So it keeps making it so that you can't see straight down because there's always that wall there. And
It would have been like if Dex was in a basement and I was like walking in the back door of someplace and he was calling me, basically.
yes,
I would
that's
have to
exactly
walk
right.
in, and he
That's
didn't-
exactly
He
right.
didn't know I was there yet, but if I would have if he would have talked, he would have been like, "Hey, man," I'd be like, "Hey, I'm right here. What you are?"
That's exactly it. When that
on my way
came
down
up,
right
the
now.
reason I asked about it is because if you had said something, Dex, then you guys would have heard, you would have like right away heard how short of a distance, and you not
the
really
double?
know. Yeah, you would have. Well, I mean, even just you saying something, he would have heard you because he was just up the staircase. Does that make sense? So anyway, once you guys and again in this image, just remember there's those like the prison, like the door in front of this. And then anyway, when he had signaled for you to stay, and then he had stepped forward, that's when Kilo was walking down the staircase. He was still like, up and around the corner somewhere, wherever. As he had just started walking down, that's when the door had, or that's when he had said for you to stay, and the door had closed. It was supposed to close then.
After I had shouted, so Ymir, you really want me to stay outside? Is that your wishes? Because I did say that, but I don't know when what is before
I
or
was at
after.
the bottom of the stairs while before Ymir had walked over and like that, before the door had closed. I had showed up with my light on at the bottom of the stairs, and that's when we were trying to figure out why I couldn't see anything, and we were figuring out my light situation. But I had been there for at least a minute before the door was closed. Like, I had heard the end of the conversation and then gotten to the bottom of the stairs. Unless it took me like 5 minutes to get on the stairs, I was down at the bottom of the stairs. Before the door closed.
I'm sorry, I didn't remember it like that. When I first dropped you on there, I was pretty sure all that was. Well, regardless, it doesn't really matter. As we start up, if you're wanting to say something before or as the door is closing or right before or whatever, I mean, I don't have any problem, working with you on that. This is just part of that. I get you.
Ymir to be like, "Oh, you're here," but instead, everything kept continuing on like I wasn't there, and I was like, I had a flashlight shining into the room with everyone there.
So this is going to be one of those places where
and then the door's closed.
This will just be one of those places where I'll say I'll always work with you guys on this kind of stuff. I don't have any problem with that. Part of this, especially with the tabletop, the virtual tabletop, I'm going to have people kind of chirp in and say if there is something they want to kind of get ahead of, let me know, because by having you guys split into different pages and then having to move people around, it gets very, very convoluted trying to keep all of the timing and everything 100% clean. And as we go back and look at how everything played out, I'm not at all saying, hey, I'm remembering exactly everything right, and I'm not saying anything like that. I want to make sure you guys are getting to do what you want to do. So
why do we do the pages then? Because then we have to go over everything a second time. Like, I know if I'm not there, but I can still see as a player what's going on, so you don't have to go over everything a second time if I do show up, or if we are split.
Well,
we were saying because of the pictures. We didn't see the pictures.
Yeah,
I didn't see the map. So like for him to explain the map a second time to me once I showed up, and go over the NPCs that had been introduced when I showed up.
That's part of it though, is that you guys are going to have to, if you want me to do it a different way than this, then if you guys are separate, you guys are going to be seeing shit that the other people are seeing, and I try and keep that to a minimum. If you guys don't like, it's like you're almost seeing, you're getting way more information than you should have. You see what I'm saying?
I get that, but like, as a player, I don't meta pull stuff from other people's. Like, I don't know. I'm just used to playing in front of people at a table where.
Me too.
Every once in a while,
this is all new to me too. I 100% agree.
Every once in a while, there'll be a whisper, for things that people can't hear, or a text message. But like, as far as like showing map and stuff like that, you can cover map with paper or however you want to do it. But like, if someone else is off doing something else, I'll hear it all because they're at the table with me, and then I just will play like I never heard that because I don't know, and I can't give them advice. I won't give them advice. I won't act like I know what's going on. But that way it saves the DM or GM from having to re-explain everything to me once I get there. It's kind of like when, like, hey, I talked to this I talked to this NPC, and everyone heard me talk to the NPC, but I was the only person there. And then I would get back and be like, I tell them everything he told me, instead of having to actually tell them everything he told me, because...
Okay, perfect example. I tried to do that, but because of the complexity of how this whole scene has worked, and having to pull you in onto this page and so forth, because of all of that, when I went to say that you had seen everything they had seen, I had forgotten that with the setup how it is, you were actually on a different page. That was all just part of the learning curve for me. And
I understand that. I was just questioning if the page thing is causing slowdown or causing confusion.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
I'm just saying, like, yeah.
You're touching on a very poignant question when it comes to the meta of this. As the GM, what's the best way to do it? And this is all, I'm just kind of playing around with it and seeing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
If you guys don't like it that way, and you tell me you'd rather to do it another, I'll consider it, and we'll see. I was just throwing the question out there, just so, like, to save time and also to help with confusion. I'm not saying that's the way we should go. I was just seeing if that's possibly what happened here. When we first started this out, that was one of the things that caused a problem. Was when I hit Shift Z, it's supposed to show to all players. So my thinking was, I actually was showing you that stuff because I was trying to show each art asset to the entire group. That way, when you caught up, we could do exactly what I tried to do, which is say, you now are caught up with everything you already saw.
You now see the people that I already
Exactly.
explained.
But because I forgot that it doesn't work if you're on a different page, it didn't mesh up. So I had to do it a second time. All of that, though, is just going to be like, we're still in the infancy of the battle maps, and that's the only problem we're having, is the battle maps being something kind of a little different than the multi-pages I usually work from. So
all that's fine. But mainly I was just confused why, once I showed up, there was it was basically a little bit of dialogue and stuff happened before the door closed. Like I wasn't.
Oh, wait a minute! Whoa! Didn't you say you wanted to stay up the stairs at one point for a minute? Wasn't there something about that?
I was in a rush to get downstairs.
No, I know, but when I thought there was something where when the radio went on, I thought a comma.
Jokingly, I said, did someone butt dial me? But that's all I did. I was the entire time I was on my way there because I was trying to get back as quickly as possible.
Okay, for some reason in my head, I was thinking there was almost like a comma telling you to hold on a second or something.
No,
I don't know what I'm thinking about with that.
He said nothing. He just turned on the comms and said nothing. That's why I made the joke about did someone butt dial me, because he said absolutely nothing because he just wanted me to hear what was happening, due to, I guess, being uncomfortable or uneasy about the situation or just filling me in. And
I was just letting him listening to the conversation.
Yeah,
I get you.
That's when I asked how close I was, because I was like, I can probably hear him.
Well, and
conversation.
What I had
talking to Ymir at that point, because that's when you asked Ymir, like, are you sure about this? I was like, probably just around the corner from you at this point, because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because before you had talked to Ymir, while he was still talking to, why do I keep forgetting his name?
Lars,
yeah. I'm writing that fucking down on this piece of paper because I don't want to flip back the other ones. When he was still talking to Lars is when Dex turned on the comm, so I could hear that conversation. And then as I was like basically coming around the corner is when he was like, hey, are you sure? So like during that conversation, I would have been like 15 feet away. I would have been standing right next to him with my flashlight on.
You were 40 feet, you were a little, what did I say, 40 or 50 feet when you, from the door. From the door,
I was at
because
the
stairs, and the ceiling was, I want to say 40 feet. So I believe I said it was 50 feet to ground level to give like the right extra depth. So my thinking was that the staircase is going to be at least that long because it's coming down in a spiral. And so my thinking was you were, at least like 40 feet up a spiral staircase.
Yeah, but when he first turned the comms on when I was at the door going.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and like I said, I'm not trying to say I'm remembering everything correctly and you guys aren't.
Yeah.
That's a part of this that you'll notice. Like this is my ultimate point. The more everything splits and then comes back together, the more I'm kind of just juggling, trying to make sure everything's on the right page and all the technical shit is going right.
Yeah, and it's not even all on exactly like the scenario. It was more of me being confused, like, hey, I was there, but then like.
Absolutely.
Even, like Ymir's fault, like they're like not saying anything, but I was like, why was nothing? Like it made no sense to me while I was just standing there, and then it was just like okay, and like I just felt like my character wasn't there, even though I was like I'm here. I didn't say I'm here, but like I thought it was obvious to everyone that I'm standing right next to a comma.
No problem at all. And I'll definitely go back through this afterwards. I'll listen to that part and see where
I'm not
if
to retcon or anything.
Yeah.
no, it's not, guys. It's not even a problem. Everything is fluid. It's not a problem at all. This is just a thing where it's showing us where we're having a breakdown in communication, and it'll let me learn how to approach this exact kind of situation better. Right off the bat, I'll make sure that the page shit is straight. That's something right from the beginning I had off with this. So,
GM, quick recommendation.
Sure.
If we're talking about distance traveled, let's say specifically like them two walk forward, I don't know, like 100 feet, and I'm like around the corner, and it's like a 50 feet straight, then turn the corner another 50 feet, let's just say. And I get to the point where I'm saying I'm sprinting toward them because I know they're in trouble. Is there a possibility if you can go ahead and let us know, hey, you're halfway there? Or if you're going down the stairs, you're at the top of the staircase?
Absolutely.
You're halfway at the staircase.
Absolutely.
Hey, just let you know you're at the bottom of the staircase now.
Yeah, I'll try and pepper that in as we move forward with descriptions and
Because
stuff. Absolutely.
I think that's where the communication got.
And I know Kilo had said that he wanted him to run or hurry. I remember him communicating that.
Yeah.
This is, like I said, guys, it's just one of those things where it's like I was trying to keep several things in mind, and I don't think I was explaining everything that well as needed to be for everyone to be where I was at in terms of distance and timing and all that kind of shit. And if there ever is a point where things don't exactly match up, like I said, feel free to kind of jump in and say something right whenever something you're not understanding, or it seems like, wait a second, I thought it was like this. I have no problem slowing things down so that we can get everything straightened out. I will do that. No problem at all.
Red card.
Yeah. I don't.
Out.
This is. I got to be honest, guys. I am really enjoying the virtual tabletop, but it adds so much extra complexity that in a lot of ways, it's almost like having to learn how to GM in a whole different system. You know what I mean? So.
You're doing great.
But
I'm enjoying it.
I will say this: every one of these battle maps I do, I think things are getting a little more smooth, and it's starting to kind of, So, I don't think we had any major problems when we did Ren's solo deal, as far as anything just like not working.
No, that seemed to go pretty smoothly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to. I was just when you were gone like the dog did. I was like, I'm not exactly sure what happened there because
That's no problem at all, man. Yeah. I'd rather you guys bring shit up to me because I don't. It's hard to know how it's coming across on your side. I have some tools for that, but it's just kind of as far as how I'm doing with describing things. No,
description was fine. It was just the timing felt like that was the timing of me arriving.
Seemed different,
and then not the reaction of other players to that felt like there was a misstep or something was lost in translation there because I mean we hadn't played in a couple of weeks, but like about 15-20 minutes ago I had just had a big conversation with Ymir, and the fact that I was back I would have expected maybe any reaction as opposed to just like
Oh, you're here.
Yeah,
Welcome.
like instead of just like I'm walking over here now, door closed, bye. It's like wait, what? Like I just got here. What's
Did
going
you
on?
did you feel like Ymir didn't get enough time to actually react to that? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Looking, I don't remember exactly how all the events went or the timing. It just
I get you. And guys, if you want, when I go over that shit, I'm more than willing to do it in Discord sometime if you want to check it out
Yeah,
as well.
I don't
So
know, Bear. I mean, you might have like fully
Said
realized what was
something or
happening and
did
chose not to say
Yeah.
anything. I don't know. I'm just confused by what happened because it felt like did people actually realize I was standing right next to you and was there? Like that's what I was just trying to figure out if everyone knew.
I didn't even know you
Well,
came
there's so
upstairs.
many pivots in the Lars conversation. I was
Yeah.
gonna go one way and then pivoted to another, and yeah, it's kind of hard to keep everything
Exactly, yeah.
in line when there are so many pivots and you've got certain scenes or the way you're going to react kind of loaded up, and yeah. So it may have been my bad too.
are you having fun, Bear?
I mean, you and I can talk off stream about that.
Oh shit. All right.
And we ready?
Well, give me
Let's kick
1
it.
second, Bear. Let me just ask you real quick. I know you said it was hard to kind of keep track of with everything going on. Did you feel like did you acknowledge when Ren got there, or did you feel like you didn't even hear when he got there? I just want to know for my own.
He was locked in conversation with Lars and Ymir. I think especially when we're talking English, not Russian, it's more of a focus.
Oh no,
where he may
I'm
have-
sorry, bro. I mean you as a player. Did you pick up because I know Kilo's saying he kind of it at least seems like maybe that wasn't acknowledged that he had arrived, and so
Yeah,
he didn't see a reaction from you.
yeah,
Did you
yeah,
realize he had
my-
arrived?
No, in my
Okay.
brain, I was still in that. the
Thinking
time
about the
between-
I'm sorry, I
and-
get you now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
But also, Ren was coming down the stairs or making his way down the stairs. Akama and I were right next to each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So he was turning to Akama and talking to Akama first. Maybe, I guess I should have acknowledged looking up towards the stairs because I probably would have seen Ren coming down, and that's my.
And that's where it's stuck in my head is for some reason I keep I'm remembering it that Akama looked like up over, or no, you had turned around, right, and pulled out your radio.
There you go. I'm back.
You had turned around and pulled out your radio, right?
Akama did.
Yeah.
I had-
And that's I'm picturing Akama on the stairs looking up the stairs as Ren is coming down around the corner. And
Right.
in my mind it
Ymir
seemed
was
like
looking-
that's when you went forward into
because
the
Ymir
room
was
and then it
focused
closed.
forward,
The
looking at
conversation,
looking
the conversation
at the room.
between Ayama and Ymir about Akama and Ymir before he walked away was, "Are you sure I was down there when he had that conversation?"
I think you're right. But I'm just
The
letting
only
you
part I
know
heard
in
the
my
radio
head
was-
for some reason that seems
No,
like
that's
how
fine.
it played
The only
out.
part-
So
the only part I heard over radio was between Lars and Ymir, and by the time I got to the bottom of the stairs is when Akama was like, "Are you sure you're okay with this?" Before the door closed, and before everything was confirmed, was being like, "Are you cool with this? Are you?" And you're just like, "Yeah, go." And that's why I was like, "Okay, I'll just sit here because I don't know what's going on. I only heard the very tail end of the conversation."
I get
So
you.
I was
I get you.
role playing, being like, "Okay, I'm just gonna listen to their conversation." All of a sudden, boom, door closed. I'm like, "Okay." So that's why I was like, I was here during the last bit between Ymir and Akama. Now Ymir was already like over here. Does it click? Does it do a thing?
Click and hold for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's just it's being laggy for some reason, like really laggy for me. But yeah, he was there. He wasn't in the doorway anymore by the time I got down. But the conversation was between Akama and Ymir when I was at the bottom of the steps next to Akama while he was sitting on the floor. So that's why I was confused, because I was like, I was down there while they were still having conversation so he would have seen me
Okay.
standing right next to, or at least a flashlight. If he didn't see me.
But that's what I was saying, that we had that issue with the visuals, the lightings and stuff like that. We couldn't see nobody near us. So a lot of the issues
I get
was
you.
in between that.
Yeah, because when you first got my flashlight on, all I could see was Ymir, and he was right in front of me.
I still couldn't see him here.
I think a big part of this too is that what the DM sees is so different from what you guys see that
Yeah.
when I try and shift over, like, it's hard to explain, but I'm seeing it from your point of view, but there's still shit that it has to show the GM no matter what. And so some of the lighting effects and some of the way things look, you guys are telling me this doesn't look right, and I'm seeing areas of darkness, and I'm seeing this, that, and the other, like with the flashlight, right? As you got down, and we had to retcon it because you came down a dark staircase, and we had to turn a flashlight on. But through all of that, I'm seeing like a whole different kind of set of shit. So anyway, my only point is, as we go forward, like I said before, just feel really comfortable letting me know if you're not seeing something right, if something isn't looking right. I 100% will slow down, we'll take a minute, we'll get everything explained and get everything synced back up.
Yeah,
And,
I think everyone was a bit confused, which is why we didn't say anything, because I was just kind of like, I wasn't
Yeah,
sure if
yeah.
it was being played that way, where Ymir was kind of like, you already did me wrong, I'm not having it, or if I was just kind of like waiting for it to play out, and once the door was closed, and I was like, okay, now I'm confused a bit. And
No worries at
then
all. No worries at
at
all.
the break, I was like, okay, I just want to make sure. That's why I was questioning, like, did everyone understand what was going on there? Because I didn't.
Hey,
Because
this is something that we can retcon in 2 seconds. It's really no big deal. We'll be moving on. And to be perfectly honest, there's not a whole lot of variety in the outcomes that were possible with all of this. So this
Yeah,
is
I mean,
something
no,
we'll
we can
just
continue
stitch
where
it
we're
up
at.
and no worries at all.
yeah,
So
we can continue where we're at. It's just, yeah, and I also said what I said to Akama, being like, what the hell was the point of me getting back so soon? Because he is generally confused.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we can play it off as Ymir was just in the zone, or however you want to play it, Ymir, Bear.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just, I mean, like, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to make sure that everyone, because I was confused and I was trying to.
Sure. Hey, and guys, I want you to understand something. It's, I've actually been listening to a lot of like Critical Crab and a bunch of different stuff where they go over some like crazy adventure sessions people had and stuff. Yeah, man. I'd like to think I'm a fairly reasonable GM, and I just want us all to have fun. So if anything comes up, don't ever think that I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be a problem. Like I could.
don't worry about ever interrupting you for
Right
questions, and I never worry about you as far as I never worry about your attitude towards me. I worry about you losing your place or losing the flow of the story. So that the only
Sure.
reason why I ever hold back is because you're on a flow, and
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt the story for myself or others for a question.
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
I
You
get
have
the
very
issue of
long,
pacing.
detailed explanations.
Yeah.
But if you can get back on flow, I'll be more
Yeah.
diligent about
Absolutely.
right away.
Absolutely.
It's just, I don't want to mess up flow, because I don't know how your train of thought works. I know some people that like it's like when someone's trying to tell you a story and you interrupt them, they're like, "Fuck, what was I saying?" I
Oh,
don't want that to happen.
to be honest, man, I've been fucking with this long enough. I mean, I don't really get frustrated at all. I don't give a fuck. We can talk rules all day if that's what it takes. I just want you guys to have a good time.
I know you're
Right
a
on,
chill dude. I'm
right
not
on.
worried about hurting your feelings or pissing you off. It's more
Right on.
about
I'm worried about
Messing
that.
the story up. Yeah. And again, it's hard because I try really hard to keep the story moving, but most people, especially people that are used to the, just dice and paper version, that's all the game is. There isn't even really art assets, so you're explaining fucking everything.
Sometimes a paper drawn map for the battlefield. That's about it.
Yeah, so it's a hard thing to learn this new
Since we're on
kind of
camera,
style.
I'll put
so
my hand up. I'll put my hand up when I want to interrupt, so I don't.
Damn. So you gotta look.
Oh,
at the
you're
cameras
good.
Too, Odin.
you're good. Just fucking
Everybody
chirp
like
in,
this?
man. Just
How
chirp
about
in.
we get one of those little pink doodads that those ladies do on the cam shows, and we just put those in our butt, and we buzz each other when we have a question.
Jesus, man, I'm gonna need to start charging for that shit.
Yeah.
I
I'll
will
buzz you
say,
every time I want your attention.
I will say that
Send you a bit.
this is just like anything else. The longer we play this, the more we'll kind of understand each other with all of it, and we'll just kind
Gaps
of all
always
start
cause-
falling. Yeah, yeah.
Gaps in play always cause.
And
If
then
anything,
and then
for
there'll be a
us-
patch or an upgrade, and it'll take a fucking week to get back into the deal, but we'll do it. So
Hey, if anything, for us as players as well, maybe say something like asking the GM, I'm at the staircase, yeah? Okay. Am I
I
closer
did. I
to
did
the
when I
middle or
said,
the
when
end?
you were calling, when you called me, I was like, I should be there, right? Like I'm like pretty much there, and he was like, yeah, you were going in the door, which is right down the steps. That's why I asked that, because I was like,
The only reason
no.
why I
You were
called
going in the
is
door
you
at the
weren't
top
there.
of the steps.
yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
I know that.
okay.
But when he was calling me, I was like,
At the doorway.
I
in my
get you.
head, I was like, why would he be calling me right now? I'm basically there, but obviously he doesn't see me yet. But so that's why I was like, how close am I? Like I was going in the door, and you're like, yeah, you're at the top of the steps. So I'm like, that's what I said. Well, he'd be able to hear my response probably if I responded aloud. Like he'd be able to hear me. And you said that, yeah, but Dex didn't say anything, and that's when I said like, it's just a butt dial because.
I was still in the.
He would have heard me say that from the top of the steps. He would have heard double. We even went over that. We said something about double.
Yeah, but my idea behind it. Oh, it fucking refreshed. What the fuck?
That's how you would have been aware that I was there. Like,
So, the I was locked into the conversation with them
Mhm.
because they're basically trying to kick me out.
yeah,
And
I
I
understood
know
that.
Ymir wanted somebody to be close at least, so we're able to, be all safe in a way. So when I called you, I didn't say anything because I was still listening to what they had to say,
I understood
and
that.
then right when what?
You guys love this game. It just occurred to me. Nobody gets this into into the weeds
like I
on
said-
details unless they're having fun. I'm glad you guys are actually like. I'd hate to think people are just going, I don't really give a shit what happens. You guys are sharp. You're fucking on it, and everybody's fucking down. Right on.
We want to be on the same page.
I get you.
If
I
we have
get
a
you.
conflict, then
Dude,
we
I
gotta make sure
was
we iron
struggling
it
'cause I
out.
wasn't taking enough notes before.
Yeah, all
So,
that's
like,
all.
So I am like all ears now because the littlest detail. Fuck, when I was just doing laundry to put my laundry in, I put my headset down and I ran because I'm like, dude, there might be someone gonna miss. And then later on, I'll be like, what happened? And then Bear's gonna be like, give me the encyclopedia version of what happened because he remembers
shit.
everything. I'll be like, fuck, how did I missed all that? So I've been taking notes.
That's
so I'm not
something.
constantly-
That's something I do like about you guys being on different pages. Is that aspect when we switch over into the other Discord channel? I love when people have to relay what the fuck happened, and I know eventually you're going to be able to
do that
just.
yet.
Well,
Telephone.
it's cool, man. It's cool.
I did
Yeah,
have a full session, or like several full sessions.
yeah.
So it was,
yeah.
I kind of had that, yeah.
So,
Anyway, yeah. I don't want
all right, guys. Yeah, no worries.
Confused about what
No worries.
what
I
was happening.
appreciate you guys letting me know what's going on that I need to work on. I want to make sure that everything, I don't want us having to slow down. So
So the door closed and he's fucked.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just like, what just happened?
You motherfucker, you.
And then, are we retconning you yelling after him, or are we keeping that all in too? I mean, that sounds fine to me. Like,
I'll
like,
just throw a little something in. This will just go real. We're just gonna kind of pick up from.
All right, let's
No.
kick it. Ready? You back, Ymir?
Bear, are you good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All
I'm
right.
dead here.
Alright.
Just
Just
listening.
making sure.
All
Dying over
right.
there.
No, there's no holes in my walls yet. I think we're okay.
Oh shit! This is gonna be so good. All right. So I'm gonna start the recording again. Give me just 1 second. Get some
3.
fucking water.
6.
All right,
Aye.
guys. Hold on a second.
You hold on.
Okay, we're good. Let's see here. Going back to this, and we're back in 3, 2. All right, guys, we are back. We had a little bit of confusion about the timeline of how everything just unfolded, so I'm just going to catch us up really quickly. We're going to say that Ren got down the stairs right as the door was beginning to close. We're going to say that Lars looked back at him, holding one palm up, and stated simply, "The mage is excluded too," and then simply turned back around and kept on walking. So we're just gonna wrap it up like that. You guys are both outside of the closed gate, the closed door of bars, and let's see. I think
Ren's like, what the fuck, man?
that we can go ahead and say that if there was something, as Ymir was kind of stepping into the circle in the first place, as you glance back over at the bars, you do indeed see your companion there where you had been kind of caught up in the moment before. You see him over there, and if there's some kind of something you want to say or a gesture you want to make, you can absolutely do a little something, and then that'll just
Got my
about
head
catch
down
us
and
up.
I'm kicking dust on the floor.
Ymir, is there anything you wanna kind of say or signal right as you're stepping into that
Well,
circle?
It's your phone.
Yeah, no. Well, looking back and possibly noticing, because I'm out of character, I'm rolling in my low perception check with this. Not really noticing Ren until maybe just before stepping into the circle. Ymir looks back, sees Ren through the bars, and just puts his hands up he puts his palm out and he closes his fist. And it's basically like a protection sign, like just guard, stand right there and watch, because he's not going to speak. He's not going to be like, you're not allowed, this is not the part that I was talking about, Master Red, or anything like that. He's just going to put his palm up and close his fist in like a wait and watch type of hand gesture. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'll just breathe. I'll just say under my breath, kind of. I mean, probably enough that a comic can be like, "What the fuck was that all about?" Then? And then I'll just and then you can continue with what's happening. But at some point, I do want to have a discussion during this process to Akama. I don't want to take up time right now, but if you find a break, I want to have a little.
Okay.
It's fine. Yep.
No worries at all.
That was gonna I figured that was gonna happen anyway. I imagined Akama would probably want to. So, continue. My bad, GM.
Hey, no worries at all. Yeah, and guys, we're still, unless we're in initiative combat, you're definitely feel like you can chime in and say something, ask something, make a comment. You know, even if it's just to say, "Hey, can my guy say something real quick?" or "Can da 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 da." It's never going to be a problem at all. So
stay in character, boss. Sorry.
That's not and that is fantastic. Obviously, I just want you guys to know, like, as far as the meta, you know, we're good. So, okay. So as this is happening, you step into that the place that you've been guided, and you see that ring form around your feet as before. As your attention is drawn back over to Drago, you guys have your little exchange where he smelled you.
Any sort of instinctual reaction from Ymir? Does he feel trapped? Does he feel caged by the energy? Is that
No.
big ass VX cable's hair standing up on his arms? Anything like that? Okay.
No.
All
Nope. And again, you see the circle form kind of slowly, and it seems relatively benign, but it's definitely some part of the architecture of the spell.
Of course.
As this happens, you have that exchange with Drago where he kind of smells you and says you will do nicely, and the others step into their positions around the crucible. Okay, that catches us up to right now. Ymir, as you're staring forward at the crucible, you see just a soft kind of ephemeral pulse, a kind of heat distortion, just kind of wafting off of this kind of artifact. And with the heat of the forge itself, which is meaningless to one such as you, you see that there's an extra layer of kind of distortion in the air. You see that there's almost a kind of light filtering through from behind the very fabric of reality itself that you can't quite discern, but you know you're picking something up there. You also feel like there's some kind of significance to this light. There's some kind of familiarity, but you can't quite place it. Now, why don't you go ahead and do a perception check for me, and let's go ahead and switch over and see Ren and Akama as you guys are watching the proceedings here. You see everybody get into position. Akama is seeing the magic architecture of the spell begin to unfurl and take shape. You're seeing all kinds of geometric patterns of mystical energy and different colors of arcane runes kind of flaring to life that were previously buried and inactive, but you're seeing an entire field around the crucible itself kind of lighting up with energy, and it's within the radius of this that all of these participants seem to be standing in. You're seeing this circle of spell weaving actually extending out past where the individuals are standing around the crucible itself. In the case of Ymir, you're seeing all of the symbols and stuff. Yeah, you're seeing all of those all the way out past everybody, kind of like this. You see what I'm saying? It comes out and past.
That's wild.
Okay. At this point, I need for Akama to make a perception check as well, please.
You got money? No. Give me a second. For some reason, I think Roll20 refreshed and all my character sheets disappeared. Give me a second.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. It put me on some fucking, like, the GM's page or something. Oh boy, let's go.
Nice! Holy shit. It put you on the GM's page?
Something like that, Odin. It tried to say you don't have access to this URL or you got signed out, you need to refresh the page, yada yada yada. But now I'm back in.
Oh, okay.
Back
okay.
On. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, and Ymir, yours was 16?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ymir, you beat that by a chunk. You notice as you look over your right shoulder, you notice that the silver anvil behind you bears distinct Mystic Kuznia symbols and runes. And you are seeing that there is a clear denotion of an old practice among your kind to sign their own personal anvils and forges. And you see very clearly written in Russian a name, okay? You can tell that it's Russian, but I don't believe you can read Russian. Is that correct? I don't know if you have literacy or not. Let me take a quick look. Why does that say my session has expired on your character sheet?
That's what I got. That's what I got tagged with, Ode.
All right, give me just a second and I'll go ahead and I'll try and refresh mine real quick.
Yeah, refresh mine and it'll log me out and send page not found.
Yep, that's the error I got as well.
Is the site
Everybody
down?
left. So at least
Maybe
this-
they had an update or something.
Could be maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had to I logged out and I went ahead and it refreshed the site and I'm back out at the main page.
I'll go ahead and
I'm gonna go to the
back
Prism at
out as
KeterFall, just the main page, but I'm not gonna load in just yet. And
I just logged in. Let me
you're fine.
exit game.
Before I log in, I'm just gonna tell the browser to refresh one more time, just to make sure. I don't know what that was all about, but okay. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. Okay, I am logged in. And my video's up.
log back in as well.
Here, Bear, don't check your character sheet just yet. Let me take a quick look.
Don't worry.
I don't know if us clicking on shit at the same time is... Okay, so if you want to go ahead and check on yours, then I'm definitely good on this end now.
Back into...
Odin, is that you that your phone keeps going off? Like, da-do-do.
Oh, probably. Does it sound really goofy?
I haven't heard it.
I have.
I hear it periodically.
It's weird. Oh, shit. Maybe my music on the app, the Roll20 is louder than...
Oh, I didn't even have the music on. Fuck me.
This should be... Okay, there we go. I think that's good. Okay.
Yeah, literacy is not one of my skills. I can speak Russian and Vana and Euro and Gigantes, but literacy is not on here.
Ah, okay. Perfect. All right.
Speak English.
So, well, I mean, not perfect, but we're caught up and we're ready. So, as you're looking over, you're looking at the side of that interesting anvil, and like I said, you're seeing what you can tell is some kind of name, but those fucking symbols, those infernal symbols that people use, they just, they have always just frustrated the hell out of you. And you feel a little of that swelling up within you. You feel like that would be something that might be helpful to know. As you're looking over at it, yeah, okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, as you're looking over at it, you start looking back towards the crucible, and as you're turning your head, you spot Lars once again. And this time, Lars is actually looking at you. And as you watch his face for a moment, you realize that he was just observing you as you were looking around and taking notice of the anvil. And as you're looking at him and you make this realization, he simply looks at you coldly, calmly, and in the firelight, he then slowly shifts his gaze over to Drago. He then looks back at you and once again lowers his head and begins chanting.
Ymir slowly nods, understanding what that nonverbal communication most likely meant, because he